It is 101. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Jackson Williams. Practice number 1 for the Titans is in the books, and the team may be adding some reinforcements as they worked out defensive lineman Timothy Horn and are expected to sign him. Team also is reportedly signing running back Jamar Jefferson. All of this coming from Aaron Wilson. A pair of injuries out of Miami Dolphins camp is offensive lineman Bayron Matos was hurt at the end of Dolphins practice and was airlifted to a nearby medical facility. And cornerback Artie Burns left practice on crutches, and it is feared that he may have torn his ACL during today's practice. For your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. First day of training camp for me out there. I'm a little zapped by the sun. I have to say.
Zapped by what?
Man. And listen,
What?
not only that, I was very accommodating to the fans behind me because, the fans were there. I knelt down a lot, squatted a lot.
Oh, so you got some quad work.
I got some quad work, hamstrings, calves, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I got a lot of work, a lot of back sweat probably for them. But at least I was accommodating while all the other people were standing in front of them. I'm a man of the people, I guess.
So did you turn it into stretching and make it productive? Because you said you've been tight.
I did a little stretching.
The Grand Poobah would have told you to stretch while you're down there. If you're going to go down, they make it productive.
I did a little bit. I'm a naturally short person anyway, but I did do a little bit of stretching, a little bit side to side work, trying to do everything. But man, it was a hot one out there. Made some rookie mistakes, obviously not bringing a change of clothes, one of them. Not bringing like dude wipes or something probably would be dude wipes or something would be one. No hat. That I forgot the hat.
I should at least told you the hat because that got me the first time I was out there. I was like, I'm just tanning.
I'm not a hat guy, and I thought it was going to be, relatively late to where I'm not going to get a parking spot, but that wasn't the case. So I just rushed out the door. But hat was on my mind. It just wasn't on my head as I left the door. The other one would be I didn't test my microphone stuff. None of my microphone worked. I had this great clip of Brian Callahan talking about timing, this offense and all this stuff. Great, HD video, no sound whatsoever. So I got coach better, play better.
Casey Jones, the late great Casey Jones said you are bigger in person.
No, he said what is bigger in person?
I wanted to change it up. I didn't want to say that.
I tell you who looks... Okay, I got a couple of physical observations.
Oh, man.
First off, Chad Brinker is jacked.
Oh, yeah,
he needs to be playing edge for this team because they don't have one.
Well, first of all, he's too short to play edge, but he's built more like a fullback.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is in shit. And I joked, how we did, 100 men versus one gorilla. It'd be 100 Titans press corps versus one Chad Brinker. I think Chad Brinker would win.
Oh, my.
That was one observation that he is jacked. Jeffrey Simmons, he looks noticeably a lot slimmer than what he was, and he talked about that, and we'll hear from Jeffrey Simmons. But I don't know. Maybe we need to be rethinking Big Jeff to something else because, he does look noticeably
Well, I saw him in training camp. Or OTA, so he's the same as he did. But, yeah, you could see the difference.
You can totally see him. He's got his crop top on and all that kind of stuff. Xavier Restrepo's legs, tree trunks. Dawn pointed that out to me, though. Dawn Davenport, that was the first things out of her mouth.
So what does that mean?
They were huge.
Well, I mean, like, what does that mean in relative to football?
Probably nothing. These are just bodily observations.
Oh, okay. So he had tree trunks.
Yeah, like the huge. She said they
calves?
Looked a little bit, yeah. But the thighs were really big.
I told you, built like a running back.
That's what I was about to say. You said he's built like a running back, and she thinks that they got even bigger since college. So he's getting a little bit, they they were huge. Femi Oladejo built like an action figure. I mean, and listen, we'll get to the football stuff too.
Okay.
But he looked really good. Tyler Lockett looked shorter than I thought he would be.
Oh, he's tiny.
He is tiny.
He's tiny.
But he is good. So let's get to some of the football because I want to bounce off some of the stuff that you've already said from your observations at minicamp and OTAs and really just kind of echo some of the stuff that you had said. I think that Elikayo Manor, let me tell you something. It's a good thing ladder drills don't matter because he's terrible at ladder drills.
I said people get out in the water or something. I'm like, hey, man.
I mean, I watched it, and I was like ground level, and I was like, I didn't say anything, but I was like, man, this guy stinks at ladder drills.
Watch this. Remember when Derrick Henry was horrible at the ladder drill?
Yeah.
And I laughed. I go, well, dang, sometimes it's some of these guys' first time doing it the way that their coach wants them to do it or this drill. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt, man. What all really matters is when they get in the game, there's no ladder.
Yeah.
There's people, and he's stepping on them.
Oh, my gosh.
So just calm down.
7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. That dude did not matter who lined up across from him, whether it's Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Darrell Baker, Gabe Judy Lawley. That dude creates space. He can go and find space. And I'm not trying to get anybody hype or anything because it's day one of training camp.
It was no pads too again.
Yeah. But that dude... he just has such a feel for where he can stop, start, move, and find a way to get open and create a lot of separation and be an easy target for his quarterback. And so ladder drill be damned, it don't matter because it was terrible. And that dude creates space. And I think that is a huge, when we're talking about, or I guess when Chad Brinker and Mike Berganza yesterday were talking about leaning on their young players, they leaned on those young players, and that was a theme all throughout the day. And, of course, in some instances, they have to because of depth issues or where they were drafted and all this kind of stuff. But you saw it on defense when the first team rolled out and all that kind of stuff. You're seeing a lot of young players getting those first team reps, and you're starting to see the team start to take shape. And I think I know that Cam Ward, said that they're going to be one of the top offenses in the league and all this kind of stuff. But I just have to say, Elikayo Manor, that dude's the real deal. It's like when you said something about Calvin Ridley last year about how he looked like a number one wide receiver. This dude looks like an NFL wide receiver in these 7-on-7, 11-on-11 drills.
But he looks like he's played in the league already. The way he goes about his business and how he plays the position, it was like, man, this guy looks like he's been like. So I'd be interested to see who he's working with outside of the coaching staff. Because unless he's just been that way the whole time, man, all he does is make sure he stays healthy because that kind of became an issue there in college a little bit. Well,
that's one of the reasons why he dropped to the fourth round. A guy that everybody thought was going in the second round dropped to the fourth because there was a little bit of a hamstring or calf issue or something
he had
like that.
A knee issue as well. Which I don't know. Obviously, it's no concern, but I think it's going to be interesting when we get to pads because that's the only thing that kind of changes for me about him with the pads is because he's a bigger receiver. So you always wonder if they can get that kind of separation consistently with pads on because now, DBs being a DB, have more to grab and hold and he's a big guy. So I think
he's quicker than what he looks.
Oh, yeah.
He's not blazing fast, but he's quick.
Off the line.
Yes.
And it was like, dang. And I used to feast on, this is a big target. Then nobody was really getting him.
No.
Yeah, that was the same. How about this? Since we're talking about big receivers, how did Burks look?
Burks is getting a lot of play from the media.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah, Cam Ward says it's really great to have a guy that's explosive, that's big like a target. I still see the same old Burks. I don't see anything new.
Did he say that he was going to be one of the better receivers on the team?
That's what he said.
You didn't say that.
That's what he said. Like,
did you hear this too?
He said top pass catchers.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said top pass catchers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, okay. I knew he said something to the
I personally, I think Cam Ward's just a natural hype man for his receivers. And that's great. I'm glad that he's a hype man.
Oh,
but
man.
I think he I mean, I have nothing to really compare him to prior training camps other than clips and videos.
Right.
I don't understand it. I know that a couple people have him make the final 53. I don't think he looked terrible, but I think there were other wide receivers that outshone him, including Bryce Oliver. And my eyes keep drifting to this TJ Sheffield kid. And I think
he's local.
He's local, and I think what he is able to do, provide the way that he works, he's probably just practice squad,
right? But watch this. Is he better than Restrepo? Because he air.
You're going to get me in trouble, Blaine. This is my first.
You need to get the wrath.
I think he does.
See?
I'm just saying he looks faster. I think there were times, I don't know if it's maybe first time jitters for Restrepo, but this is first time for Sheffield too. I think he looks noticeably faster, noticeably quicker. He's a thick dude. Like he's not a big tall boy.
No, he's not tall.
But I mean, he's built.
Yeah, he built up.
And I think in the drills he looks better. I think on the 7-on-7, 11-on-11s he looks better. I even went to TD because I was like, "What do you think of this TJ Sheffield kid?" And he's like, "Oh, he's practice squad all day long, but this guy's he's good. I mean, he's good for that." And I'm like, okay, so I'm not crazy,
right, mm-hmm.
because I'm. That's all I did was watch wide receivers today. I got a few glimpses of other players, but that's what I watched. And if I were, I don't know what I can and can't say on the radio to not get in trouble by
well,
Titans
you just
PR.
talk about what you observed of
but
him.
I observed a pecking order that is not beneficial right now for the Xavier Restrepo.
Okay, well, Mason Kinsey.
Mason Kinsey, I would say, is a little bit higher on the pecking order. He looks like the Mason Kinsey we've come to see over the time. Bryce Oliver looked good. Van Jefferson looked good. I had Van Jefferson, Elikiah Manor, and Tyler Lockett on my side a lot. And, because I was on if you're looking from the quarterback perspective, the right side of the formation. So I got to see, J.C. Latham's side and all that kind of stuff. And I thought Van Jefferson looked good. I thought, they really want to get Chimere DK involved. They're definitely finding ways to get him involved. He played
outside and inside, didn't he?
So if I were to say, based on today,
first day,
if I were to pick the top 6 wide receivers for this team, it would go not in this technically order, but Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett. And then I would go Elikiah Manor, Chimere DK, and Bryce Oliver.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah.
If they hold a 7th one, maybe it is Burks. I don't know. I still don't get it. The infatuation with him, because I know he even had a media scrum and everything. People were asking Cam Ward about Burks in the press conference. But that's the top 6 based on what I observed day 1 of training.
So who is your number 7?
If I were to go number 7, I mean, I know I'm probably crazy and it's just one practice, but I think I would go TJ Sheffield. Maybe Mason Kinsey. But I mean, I know what I got with Mason Kinsey, so maybe I should go with old reliable. Mm-hmm. But I really like what TJ Sheffield showed. I mean, I liked his effort in the ladder drills, or all the drills I saw, but I liked his effort there, liked his effort in 7-on-7, 11-on-11s. I don't know. I just like effort guys.
Did they mix and match the receivers? Because they do that a lot. It was hard to follow who was ones and 2.
Not really today, I would say.
They was in the 1s and 2s.
I felt like what they showed in 11-on-11s was 1s and 2s. And I felt like that, the rotation felt like that. And that's why I said if I would say after day 1 of training camp, still got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Pecking order is kind of where I would put the top 6 wide receivers in my mind.
Real quick, I know we got to go to break, but I love asking you questions. How did my man Brandon Allen look?
We'll talk about that when we come back after the break. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 105 The Zone.
Line up your mustache, Brand Poobah.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. I'm giving you guys my observation from training camp. Blaine has given you a lot before now about mini camp and stuff. So I'm kind of really just echoing what you've already said, Blaine.
Because they're still not in pads yet.
Yeah, they're still not in pads.
So, yeah.
But the first reaction I had when looking at the quarterbacks today, because you asked me how my boy Brandon Allen looks.
That's your guy.
That's my guy.
I'm attaching to you right now.
I think me and Brandon Allen may be the same size. I understand that he was standing next to Tim Boyle, but that guy he's small. I thought maybe he was a kicker when he took his helmet off. I thought he was a kicker at one point, but this guy is tiny, and Cam Ward is a tiny dude too. For a quarterback.
Oh man!
But Cam Ward has that. He plays much bigger than what he is. He has that bigger presence. But Brandon Allen, the first thing I said, I was talking to Dawn, standing on the sidelines watching the guys. She goes, what have you noticed? I said, well, the first thing I've noticed that Brandon Allen is so much smaller.
You sure it wasn't the angle you were standing on the sideline or something?
I'm sure. And I'm a 5'8" guy, and I feel like he's not that much taller than me.
Little Doug Flutie vibe to him.
I'm without the aura.
Well, maybe you should have went and stood next to him and kind of measured him up.
Yeah. Well, what
do they list him as?
I don't know, but
he's 6 feet.
Probably if I had to say that he's probably listed at 6'1".
He's got to be. He's listed at 6'2".
6'2".
6'2". He does not look 6'2". Let me tell you something. He does not have the makeup of a 6'2" guy.
So that's two people you said look small. You said that
Khalil Mullins looks small, but he looks thinner more so than thicker. Right. I thought he was going to be thicker.
So you should be saying slimmer.
Slimmer for him.
Not small.
Now, Brandon Allen looks small.
Right.
And
so silly,
if you wanted to hear how he performed, the Titans need a quarterback behind Brandon or behind Cam Ward.
Number 2.
They need a QB2. And I get that he has a lot of attachment to the Brian Callahan system, and he knows it. And listen, Cam Ward himself, and let's hear from Cam Ward right now, but Cam Ward did talk about there are benefits to having Brandon Allen in the quarterback room.
Just understanding why we're calling this play, why Callahan's calling this play. Even Callahan's told me why he's calling the play, whether it's to get back on track, whether it's just to me get the ball in my hands, get some yards for the receiver. But just him having familiarity with the offense, it's going to help me, especially throughout the season. And just he knows what Callie's thinking because he's played for him. So, I'm excited to have him in the room with me.
I like that he's able to help Cam Ward with the why. I think the why behind play calls is very important for a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But if Cam Ward goes down with injury, he ain't helping this team. And you even said, Tim Boyle looks like a quarterback. And Tim Boyle's a big boy, especially compared to these two.
Big.
He looks more like Will Levis size than anything else.
I like the way he threw the ball.
And I have to agree. I think that he throws a better ball. And this is not good, guys, that we are telling you that Tim Boyle looks like the better quarterback of the two throwing the ball, because Tim Boyle.
But he doesn't know the offense as well as Brandon Allen.
Right.
Now, what I can say is when I hear Cam Ward say that, that's typically the number 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
And not the second guy. The second guy is the guy's probably a borderline starter, half his, career or not, and that guy can still possibly start. You have a good relationship, but the third guy's the guy's kind of the eyes and ears on the sideline. And the second guy is too, but I just think that's what he is, because I don't even know where he's been on the depth charts of previous teams. I just feel like that's where he was.
He was never
eventually got to 2 because somebody got injured, and then he got a shot. And nothing against all of that, but I just don't see 2 quarterback. 2 quarterbacks sometimes looks better than the starter at times.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the business. But he did not look like that.
I think there's a lack of power to his throws. There's a lack of zip, I guess would be a better word. I feel like there was a lot of floaters out there. When you watch Cam Ward throw, and it's kind of like when you had like Ryan Tannehill next to Malik Willis at one point. They look like quarterbacks that could throw in the NFL. Even Will Levis looked like that when throwing the ball. And now it may not have been accurate after it left his hands, but when he with the wind up and everything, the flight pattern, the distance, all that kind of stuff. And I see that with Tim Boyle, but I don't see that with Brandon Allen. And I have to say that if Cam Ward goes down and they don't have a different quarterback by the time that happens, I don't know if you should even go to the stadium to watch the game.
Stop this madness.
Because
no, he can complete some balls, especially to a quick passing game. But
maybe that's why they were working on their short passes today. But like, boy, you nailed it, because you came in here that day and you said Tim Boyle looks like a quarterback, Brandon Allen does not. And you nailed it.
NFL quarterback. Just like, I don't know. He just looked, I don't know, man. And it's talent. That's all we're observing.
Right.
It really doesn't mean he's the better player. But when you see talent just throwing a freaking football, you go, whoa, that Tim. And I remember Boyle when he was with the Giants. I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Boy, who is that? Yeah, he looks better than Allen.
Well, every time that anybody from Mike Bergonzi, Chad Brinker, Cam Ward, or even Brian Callahan are asked about the benefits or asked about what do they like about Brandon Allen or what confidence they have, it goes to experience in the system, and he's played games. There's more to quarterbacking than just those two things. And that kind of, like, what they're not telling you tells you.
Yep.
That, to me, is kind of how I view it. Jackson, what you had? You had something, I guess.
Yeah, Jackson's trying to grow his goatee. I don't see it growing anywhere.
Listen, I'm not going to say anything about facial hair.
I'm having a little trouble getting it the downward motion.
It's just blank.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I got a bald spot down there.
But I'm going to tell Ross is going to start growing his, and then you're going to find out that you just can't grow it.
We're working on it.
I think I'm at that age. I'm at that point, too, where I just can't grow it. Lauren goes, why don't you just shave? I go, well, I need to lose some weight first before I shave anything.
Keep going those practices, man. You'll be all right.
But did you have a question about the quarterbacking?
Do you think Tim Boyle could be QB2?
I mean, he's probably a better option than Brandon Allen, but that's not good. That's not good enough. He can't be. You cannot. I will say it again, and we have said it on this show for like 2 or 3 weeks. It feels like you cannot go into the season with these two as your quarterback two. It doesn't matter which one it is.
Preseason's going to be interesting.
I firmly believe that they're going in with these two.
That first game against Tampa, those are your three quarterbacks. Godspeed and good luck, boys.
Yeah, you might as well just turn it off after Cam Ward does his however long he may play.
So we're talking about them, but let's get on track to Cam Ward.
Yeah.
How did he look at practice?
Today's script and what they decided to work on didn't really, didn't really let Cam Ward do a whole lot. There wasn't a lot of wow throws. He had a really good throw to Traylon Burks. Traylon Burks wasn't able to come down with it. But that was about the extent.
Made a good play, or he dropped it?
I would say that I kind of look at it like a little bit of both. But if you're gonna go on press conferences and start talking about Traylon Burks and how he's a great mix of size and explosiveness, I got to see some separation. I got to see him some contested catches. And I didn't see that. And Traylon Burks is the size of someone that should have came down with the ball. Mm-hmm. I think that maybe Elikiah Manor probably comes down with that ball, is how I would describe it. Van Jefferson probably comes down with that ball. And I'll have to say, Cam Ward had some really nice throws to Chig, to Gunnar Helm up in the middle. David Martin Robson, like they got the tight ends involved in the middle, and he had some good throws. But today's practice really didn't lean itself to essentially see some wow throws. Okay. But he did look good. He looked command. He was a lot quieter than I thought. And even Jeffrey Simmons commented that maybe it was training camp day one jitters. But he was a little quiet today. But not a lot of talking. I didn't hear him.
Right. Well, did we hear him previously besides one time?
I don't know. I wasn't out there. But, I mean, I didn't even hear him calling the plays loud.
Oh.
And maybe, I didn't see him doing – him and Calvin Ridley missed on a few plays. One of them, Calvin Ridley, was supposed to come back to it, and he didn't. And I didn't really see a lot of that kind of like correcting or whatever. And maybe with Calvin Ridley, he came back and said,
my bad.
That is my bad. But I will have to say, Cam Ward clearly looks like the best, and I would be comfortable with him starting day one based off 1 day of training camp. But I didn't get to see anything truly remarkable or that made him truly great, I guess, because it was just screen plays, dump offs, short passes, a few trick plays, zone runs, stuff like that. Like, it wasn't for a day where you have the fans out there. And I'm not saying you have to dictate your practice plan around fans being there.
It was a good showing out, right?
But if I was, it was a good showing out. Good show. I mean, as far as all the fans that showed up, I would be a little disappointed if I was the fans out of the offensive play calling that was had. And again, that they have a regime, they have a plan. Like today, we're working on this. There wasn't a lot of red zone, wasn't a lot of this. It was just kind of like screenplays and stuff like that. So, a little disappointing, I would say, for the fans.
You threw in the tight end chick and Gunnar Ham.
Yeah.
I heard Gunnar Ham ran over somebody.
He did. I don't know who it was. But
his name Jackson? I mean, his last name.
He ran my ass clean over, Blaine.
And listen, he almost ran.
I think the guy's name
I don't think
Ross.
it was Gunnar
I think
Ham.
his name was Ross, to be honest. No, I think his last name was
Davion Ross.
Yeah,
Davion Ross.
Yeah, it was Ross.
But he did look good. Gunnar Ham, kind of similar to Elikiah Manor, but in a more congested area of the field, does a really good job finding that space against the zone defense or finding that little bit of separation to make a play. He was very involved. Yeah, it was number 40 who was Davion Ross. So thanks to Casey in the F&M Bank chat, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. Let's go to Bam, who was there today. He wants to talk about the quarterbacks. Bam, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
What's good, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good.
Glad to be in some AC. This morning was extremely hot this morning, but we were all right. The quarterbacks. Let's get into it. Cam looked great. My son, who is 13, is bigger than Brandon. We definitely, and it's just me. I want y'all opinion on it. What do y'all think about going after Tyler Huntley? Would you think that would be a valuable option?
I think, Bam, we talked about this the other day. We did think Tyler Huntley was better than these two options. But scheme fit is kind of where I'm just kind of like wavering just a little bit on. I mean, I do think that he can probably run this offense, but I do wonder how good of a fit is it for that backup quarterback too. And probably enough to supplant Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle.
In line with you as far as scheme fit. I don't know if Huntley. I think he's kind of a gunslinger guy. I just don't think those kind of guys fit into Callahan's offense. So I would lean towards the Carson Wentz, Beathard type players. Pocket passers who get rid of the ball quickly. I think those kind of guys are a little better fit, but use the backup. And then you're bringing in a veteran who's won games. So if you are all of a sudden a good team, now you have someone, if something happens to Ward, that can actually win games and people believe in can win games. Players know once you get out there, they'll know instantly. All it's going to take is a half, and they'll be like, right? So.
Right.
That's why I say he should be the 3. Then if he's looked upon as the 3, then it's a totally different ballgame.
Right.
Oh, he did a great job when he got out there. See? So I think it's just perception. So I think if you want, I think it's overrated how much backup quarter he's got to be able to win you and keep you in games. I just don't know if Allen has ever really done that in his career on a consistent basis ever. I didn't see it. I said this before. Looks like he started at Ball State and the other quarterbacks started at Power Fives.
Yeah.
It's just that's how it looked.
And
I mean,
we'll say
you're the
this.
better player, though. I've seen some other guys look kind of sort of like that and come out there just whipping it around. But I don't see him whipping it around like that.
Well, I'm glad you said that about whipping it around, because I did think Cam Ward was very aggressive with some of his throws, which is a good thing. You want to see it. Mm-hmm. And they were just a little bit. Sometimes they could come down with it, sometimes they couldn't. I know he missed one barely on Calvin Ridley where he had like 3 guys on him, but he still zipped it in there because he trusted what he saw, and it was a quick decision too. Like, that's what I want to see, is him making these quick decisions in these situations and make tight window throws, because he's going to have to make those in the NFL in games.
Yeah, he's a pretty accurate guy.
Yeah,
I mean, I love his accuracy, and he makes quick decisions. So that fits Callahan's scheme and offense and what he's trying to run. And then you open it up, and then you go downtown. Yeah. So I really like that.
But you're right. Brandon Allen was not quick, not decisive, not aggressive. There's just, again, you got to find a quarterback too. You do not have a viable option if Cam Ward goes down right now on this roster.
Yeah, right. So how many balls hit the ground? Because I'm hearing a lot of things about the ball hit the ground too much. And also I'm hearing, well, I wasn't there, that it was not flat, but not a lot of energy out there. Now, I know it's first practice, a lot of heat, and it was people kind of getting adjusted. But did you feel that way or no?
I didn't. I expected, I guess, the music to be a little bit louder. Maybe that's one thing. The music was loud, but not too loud. I again, maybe it was the practice script of it all that maybe felt like that it wasn't an exciting practice. But the players seemed to be in high energy. But again, I go back to what I was saying about Cam Ward. Didn't hear Cam Ward. Didn't really hear a lot from anybody talking any kind of smack. And I'm not saying that you have to be talking smack constantly, but typically in these practices, you hear people yapping. And I didn't really feel like I heard a lot of that, and maybe I missed it or wasn't paying attention or something, but I didn't hear it. It did feel like if we were having a conversation as media goes, anybody behind us, even if they were a few feet behind us, could hear word for word whatever we wanted, whatever we were saying. So it did feel like it was very quiet and hushed tone, but it didn't feel like the effort or the way that the players moved from snap to snap and all that kind of stuff was low energy, if that makes sense. It just wasn't vocalized, but physically the energy was there. But not the atmosphere, I guess. Yeah. It's a little weird like that. And I will say I did see a few balls hit the ground here and there. Some drops from the wide receivers, some of the defensive linemen knocking some balls down. James Lynch did one. I think Femi Oladejo did one as well, if I'm not mistaken. But how
did Femi look? Real quick.
I have to say, he looked pretty good. And we'll talk about that. We'll also go to Elvis, who is on the line here when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Look, I've been putting in the work, lifting 5 days a week, dialed up my nutrition, of course, and getting a little more disciplined with that. Still got some stubborn fat, though, on my core. Still can't get the definition that I want to look like back in my playing days. So that's why I went to Edge Peptide Therapy for Emsculpt Neo. And it builds muscle and burns fat at the same time. 30 minutes of work in the office and no downtime. Emsculpt Neo is the most advanced body sculpting technology available, merging fat reduction with muscle building in one effortless session. No surgery, no downtime, just results that speak for themselves. M-Sculpt Neo is your secret weapon, building muscle-burning fat faster than the traditional workouts alone. It's like doing 50 sit-ups, 50,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes without breaking a sweat. And all you have to do is book a session right now. You get 2 free sessions. And all you have to do is just give them a call. Edge Peptide Therapy at 615-724-1878. And let's get your hump on, right? No, your pump on. 615-724-1878.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And we were going to go to the phones and hear from Elvis, but Elvis has left the building.
Oh, Elvis left. Elvis Gerback.
Yep, we got the Grand Poobah Jackson Williams behind the glass. Blaine, you asked me how did Femi look, and first off, he is just built. I mean, like, he looks like he's a massive human. He stands out on the field. You cannot miss him. There is nobody on this team that looks like Femi. Like, you cannot confuse him with anybody.
That's what I said when I saw. I was like, man, this dude's kind of built like a Greek goddess. Like this dude is like, ooh,
yeah.
Hey.
TD said he looked like a He-Man action figure.
Oh man.
I mean, he could be a wrestler. He could be a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a UFC fighter. It doesn't matter. That dude looks the part, and nobody looks like him on this team.
Mm-hmm. But I've seen players that look like Tarzan and plays like Jane.
But he plays like Tarzan because he just swings into people.
Oh my! Just like on film.
Yeah, there is no plan. It doesn't look like there's a plan. But my God, he's going to give it everything he's got. He was getting double teamed. He was still pushing guys. He was about, I would say, I can't verify. Probably, I bet he is the third strongest person on this team behind only Jeffrey Simmons and J.C. Latham.
Well, no. Let me clarify. Weight strength in a weight room is totally different than human body strength when you're pushing. So sometimes I had guys knock dudes out and they only could bench 185 pounds.
Well, that's
and
what I'm
like,
saying.
How the heck you doing that when you up and lifting 185 pounds?
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that can just push.
Do both.
He could do both.
Yeah,
and like I see, there is a vision with Femi. Now,
so you willing it back a little bit?
I'm just saying from here, still got to figure out pass rushing moves.
Right.
Yeah, but as far as what they want to do, they're very focused on collapsing the pocket and making the quarterback uncomfortable, even if it doesn't result in sacks. And this is a guy that can push people back into the quarterback's lap.
So he was doing this to Latham?
No, he was doing it to John Njoku and Blake Hance, I think, on one play that I saw. But he was doing stuff to J.C. Latham. But mainly, he was attacking the inside to that where J.C. Latham would have to come to him and meet him and Kevin Zeitler in the middle. So he was kind of attacking the inside. He wasn't really... I was focused more on the wide receivers.
Is this a run game or
pass game? So there's a little bit more than I was focused more on the wide receivers, but there were some plays that let you see,
right.
How they go. He wasn't really going on the outside a lot, so like around the tackle. He was kind of going into them. So that's what I saw on tape too, though, as a prospect. Like he plays with reckless abandon and plays with maximum effort every time.
But it comes with responsibility there. Who has contained on certain plays? I mean, so
we'll see.
And these guys pretty smart now, by the way. This dude played middle linebacker, so he's pretty sharp.
So we'll see, how that develops. But that is something that I do think we need to see develop. Like you're saying, is contain is a big thing. I don't think they had maybe 2 or 3 runs to this side. Most of their runs. Their big play runs were over on the left side of the offensive line.
That's why he went inside.
So, maybe that is why. But that is also something we kind of saw on tape with him is that, he does look like a linebacker playing edge rusher. But I do think that with the right coaching, the right teaching, and more reps at outside linebacker, I think there is something there with Femi, but we still need to see a more, I guess you could say, refined pass rush. And not really refined because you can, in rookie year, probably asking Femi to have like a massive toolbox or anything probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But we got to see, I need to see a little bit more on that containing stuff. Well, but he looks the part, I have to say. And I do think with, can I say this? Here's what I'll say about Femi Oladejo and maybe James Williams is that I would say that the words of leaning on your young players is very true in those 2 players' cases. Very, very true, because I really don't know what I can and can't say. But I would say that James Williams we've heard from Coach Mack on this show, and I think you even said it as well, that he was the guy that they've been most impressed with at practices opposite of Cody Barton, and I do feel like that has continued throughout this practice. And I would say that first man up, Femi Oladejo is kind of how I would phrase it, I guess, to protect myself.
So let's go to the linebacker outside of Cody Barton, who looked and stood out, I guess.
The only one was James Williams, the starters.
that?
I feel like everybody else, again, I wasn't really watching them.
Defense, I know, but you just.
But I felt like the tight ends were making a lot of plays on those linebackers.
Ooh.
And
that's
for the,
Cody too.
I would say if you were to look at the three best tight ends, it would have been Chig, Gunnar Helm, and David Martin Robinson. And I
you
think
still think Gunnar Helm is going to start in front of Chig?
Not right now. And I will say this. I changed my tune on Friday while you were gone because you know who led this receiving core last year in average yards of separation?
Oh, separation.
Yeah. 4.2.
Who?
Chig Okonkwo.
Oh, you just now figuring that out?
I didn't. I listen. I never saw.
I don't have to look at the numbers.
Yeah.
He would run away from people.
Yeah.
But everybody hated on Chig. I'm like, hey man, this guy's a pretty good player.
I'm just saying. I'm with you. Like
He's a free agent too, by the way. After the season.
Yeah. I will say Chig looked very good, and you can tell that him and Cam Ward put in a lot of work in this offseason because there were throws that I feel like other Titans quarterbacks would have hesitated on.
But he should have went to tight end you, though.
He should. Oh, yeah, I've heard that one. Even though he went in 2023, and like maybe he went in 2023 and realized
he was on one of his 5 vacations.
Well, maybe here's what I think. I think tight end you is a vacation. Yeah. I think this is more like, okay, we're going to work out for a couple of hours and then we're going to go down, we're going to party somewhere. And that's fine. I'm not trying to, downplay any kind of work you can get done. But maybe, just maybe, Chig said, hey, I went through 2023 tight end you. This isn't for me. And he went and did something else. That is fine. And let me tell you something. He looks really good. And there were times out there where I thought he was a wide receiver, by the way. Like the way, how fast he was coming off that line. And him and Cam Ward have been working all offseason. I'm telling you right now, this could be a pretty good year. I'm not saying that he's going to go 1,000 yards or anything, but I think we're looking at a career year for Chig. Yes, I get that.
Perfect timing for a free agency.
I get that it's a contract
year. Somewhere else.
Yeah, I get that's a contract year. Maybe that's why a little bit extra motivation. But I do think Chig loves it here, and I do think that an extension is possible, and he looked really good. But those are the three tight ends that looked the best. And that was Chig, Gunnar Helm, and David Martin Robinson.
Martin Robinson.
And they attacked that other side. They attacked a lot away from Cody Barton, Femi Oladejo, a lot away from that right tackle side. They attacked that left side of that defense a lot. That's Darrell Baker's side, too, over there. But they attacked it a lot in the run game and the screen game. And there were a lot of explosives by Tyjae Spears in that practice.
Do you see anything from Josh Wiley?
He just named a guy that they didn't even draft as a third.
I would say
Check in.
he caught
You were
some,
wrong for that.
He caught some balls. He dropped some balls. He was there.
Present and accounted for?
He was present and accounted for. Same with Thomas Odukoya. Present and accounted for. So there you go. When we come back, we'll continue talking about some training camp observations. If you guys got questions, 615-737-1045. And of course, we have the F&M Bank Chat, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. We'll talk more about training camp when we come back. This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We also have the F&M Bank chat on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live. B. French asks, Zach, how much has the VR helped Cam out this offseason? Not sure. I guess that would be a good question. I'll file away for the next time that Cam Ward and me are at a press conference at the same time. Because that would be a good question to figure out, all that kind of stuff. But I will have to say, like Cam Ward, you ain't going to find anybody that's more all ball, I feel like, right now than Cam Ward. Cam Ward was, and I know I'm kind of springing this clip on you here, Jackson, but Cam Ward was asked about how he handles all the pressure and distractions that come with being a number 1 overall pick, a QB1 on a team. And he basically just was Cam Ward all about it and just was like so lax. And here's what he had to say.
How do you manage that? Phone on D&D, wake up, watch film. I talk to 5 people a day, so besides my teammates. So I only talk to the parents and then dog, that's really it. So I just be chilling, go home, and I don't really do too much, eat and go to sleep. And I think the biggest thing was just, whether you're college or NFL, you just gotta have a routine. I've had a routine for a couple of years now, and it's been helping me since.
Did you say your dog?
Yeah.
What kind of dog? What's his name?
Oh, we're good here.
Yeah, Rottweiler.
Yeah, that one went a little bit long talking about his dog and his name. Rottweiler named Uno. But I love that he sticks to a routine. Jackson Slater also talked about a routine. You got to have a routine. And you got to have a routine in a way. Jack Slater says if he skips one thing out of his routine, he feels like he wasted his day. So he sticks to everything to a routine. Cam Ward's sitting there talking about he eats, sleeps, football, and film. And then he said 5 non-teammates a day, but he only listed 3, his parents and his dog Uno, which I talked to both my dogs as well. So, but I do like everything that I saw out of Cam today, because I feel like we haven't really focused a lot on Cam, but I will say he is decisive. He is aggressive. He is, I guess you would say, does have sort of a commanding presence. And I think he knows what he's looking to accomplish and knows what his coach is expecting of him. And he doesn't let these expectations get to him. He's out there to play football and be known as a football player, and that's what he wants to be. He told that to Shedeur Sanders, in one of their little video clips training. And I just want to say that I do think the Tennessee Titans have a real one. I cannot wait to see joint practices, preseason games, and the regular season, because I do think that Cam Ward is a legit quarterback.
Well, I mean, here's what he's really saying without saying it. Preparation leads to confidence, leads to success. Those are the things I can control. The pressure is all the outside noise. I can't control that. All I can do is go out here and put in the work and then let it be what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that's how most athletes will have a lot of success, especially somebody who's the number 1 pick. And he's just and that leads to concise and confidence about how he goes about his business. Well, we're dealing with a whole bunch of people who maybe are a little insecure. So that's not how most athletes get to where they are. If the insecurity comes from or not confident from not putting in the work.
Right.
If you put in the work, then it is going to be what it is. Doesn't mean you're going to be great. Doesn't mean you're going to be okay, and may have a bad day. So, I mean, that's all you can do.
You're right. And I think that's something that's kind of been lacking here and there, just kind of across the NFL in general. But it really seems from just my conversation, or from hearing Cam Ward, my conversation with Jackson Slater over on Football and Other F Words, this sounds like a whole rookie class that is built that way. It's all about preparation, all about routine. And I think a lot of times you'll see rookies come into the NFL without that preparation, without that routine, because they didn't know they needed it or they didn't know how to do it, right? College is a totally different ball game where there's probably a little bit more hand-holding, and in the NFL, it's for the big boys, the grown-up, not a lot of hand-holding. So you're expected to come in and be a pro right away. And I think that this rookie class And the only person I really didn't see make some kind of play or anything that was drafted was Jackson Slater and Marcus Harris, just because I wasn't paying attention to those positions. But I think for when it comes to Gunnar Helm and all of them, like Chimere Dike and Elikiah Manor and Cam Ward, those guys, and Femi Oladejo were out there making plays, putting forth maximum effort. They didn't. I agree with you. What you said about Elikiah Manor was he didn't look like a rookie. And I will say, I don't think any of these guys looked like rookies. To me, they looked like at least year 3 guys or maybe older, but like they looked like guys that had been doing this for years.
Yeah. And that's a good sign. So that means they did a great job of background check when they scouted these guys and drafted them and everything else, just about who they are.
And that's one of the toughest things to do
that
in the NFL.
It really is, because you can get duped a little bit, because sometimes it thinks, oh, it's easy, you'll just go ask the coach. Well, a lot of times they don't ask the coach about that. They ask them about their work ethic and, because the coaches, some of them, you may want to ask the position coach, because that's who's actually really working with them on a daily basis. The head coach is the figurehead at most in college anyway, so you don't know how much he knows detail-wise of who he really is in his makeup, unless he was the captain or something like that on the team. And I'm sure they knew that about Cam Ward. But the other players that they've got here, man, these guys are all about ball. They care. They put in the work, and they understand the whole process of what this is going to be like, almost like they've already been in the league. And so that's what even impressed me even more. And to your point, that some guys don't come in the league knowing that.
Right.
And then those are the ones who kind of get left behind if they don't figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even just what you see on the field and how they carry themselves there. It's these press conference answers or these other questions. You're like, holy crap, who trained these guys? These guys.
Or are they just smarter players?
I think that's what it is. Is that I think that these guys are just smarter players. Beef in the F&M Bank chat. He says, did we draft DK just to be a returner? And let me say, no. Because without giving too much away, they are looking to be very creative with how DK is employed in this offense. And I think that he is a guy that right now he's learning. I think he's maybe too fast for other players that are handing maybe him the ball. But this guy is a fast player, and he brings an entirely different element to this team, and they are looking for creative ways. Now, he may not be a constant receiving threat, but he is going to be an offensive threat for this team, is how I would describe it. He's going to be a threat on special teams as well, but I think he's going to be a threat on offense. And they wanted speed. They got it. That dude is probably at least moving as fast as I swear to God, I did silence this and check this. I do think this is a guy that is going to be a threat vertically and a threat horizontally in different ways for this team.
Well, I don't know about that yet. I saw him in OTAs, and I think he's fast. I haven't seen this other gear that I'm waiting to see. And when I say that, I'm talking about when I saw Calvin Ridley when we first got him last year, I go, oh.
Yeah, I don't know if he's that kind of fast.
Well, that's the fast I'm talking about. Like, I'm assuming that's what I'm going to see. 4.3 and 4.4, there's a difference. People know. When you see it, you know. And I haven't quite seen that yet. So, in a small sample size. So I'm waiting to see that when I go out there and watch him practice, if I see that. Now, if it's a 4.4 with this quickness and speed combined, then, with some shakes, rattle and rolling, then it's a different ballgame.
They're really trying to find creative ways to give him the ball. I will say that. And they want to use him. I do think that maybe he is still...
But then he should be the returner.
I think he's going... I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. Now, I did not see any returning today, so maybe I missed it. Mm-hmm. But I will say that I do think, to your point, I think maybe as a rookie, he's still trying to figure out everything, and so maybe that creates a little bit of slowness to it all. Mm-hmm. But I see him moving on plays that he feels confident in. He moves really quick. But I do think that right now there is what you're kind of alluding to is that learning curve. But we haven't seen him fully open it up.
Yeah, that's why I just haven't seen it. So, I mean, I think he's fast, but I'm not seeing this worldly speed. Like he's a difference maker as soon as he touches the ball.
Yeah, and like I said, there were some creative ways that they're trying to get him the ball, and I think that one of the plays, I would say that he probably was a little too fast for the person pitching it to him, but I think there was a chunk play to be had on that play.
But once again, that is also awareness on his part. Like, let me slow down.
Yeah.
I can see that I'm way faster than this guy is, and that's football awareness. And I would think most of these guys already had that. People will be dumbfounded if they realize some of these guys don't have football awareness and natural instincts, and even though they played ball for a long time.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I am just I think that if you listen to Mike Bergonzi and Chad Brinker yesterday, where they talked about, we had Gorilla call in and say they tempered expectations, but if you heard them, I think they were giving you proper expectations. And I would go as far to say that it may be a rough year, but I think that you will see the benefits of these younger players in future years, and that's okay for this year. It may be very Chicago Bears-esque. I heard Ramon and Will talk about this, where they may only walk away with 5 or 6 wins this year, but Caleb Williams looked good as a quarterback. Now, he had his issues. I think Cam Ward will look good, but you should have high hopes for the Bears this year if you're a Bears fan. And I think maybe next year, year 2 of Cam Ward, you should have high hopes, because I do think year 2 of Femi Oladejo, year 2 of Alec Manor, year 2 of Gunnar Helm will really elevate this team's floor in the NFL. Just right now, it's going to be hard, but they are relying on these young players in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different positions, and with that is going to come growing pains.
Well, on the way back, tell us what you saw out of Jackson, returner/receiver, who they kind of just gave up on last year. What did he look like?
I thought he looked better than Traylon Burks, but maybe I'm just maybe I'm just on my own. We'll talk more about that when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. I did some, crowdsourcing from some of the media members about this. I've seen many people in the chat talk really highly of Treylon Burks' performance today. And I was like, oh, did I miss something? It's very possible. Did some crowdsourcing. Did not miss anything. I don't know what these people are talking about because you asked me about Jaquan Jackson, and I'm glad you brought him up because I wanted to talk about him because I was actually impressed today from Jaquan Jackson. I thought that the way that he attacked the drills was pretty good. The way I saw him run routes in 7-on-7, 11-on-11s, did pretty good. Caught some passes, looked good. Looked a lot better and different, more comfortable, maybe is a good term, than he did last year as a rookie. Doesn't mean anything as far as how I feel if he's going to make the roster or not. But I will say that if you are looking for, this seems like the deepest wide receiver room we've had. And I think there's
competition.
There's good competition for wide receiver 6, wide receiver 7, probably really wide receiver 7 versus linebacker 6. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, Jackson versus Sheffield.
I would probably say Jackson, but I do think that they are very close. Okay. Because I will say, I kind of forgot about when you were asking me who may be wide receiver 7. We're talking about Mason Kinsey and all that kind of stuff. I do think he looks a little bit more confident. And I think that can go a long way for a guy like Jaquan Jackson, who had a pretty rough year last year, especially as a returner. Again, I didn't see any returning drills or anything today, so I don't know even if there was any. But I do think that Jaquan Jackson looked like a different wide receiver. Because I was constantly looking for the numbers, and I'm like, who's 19? Oh, wait a minute, that's Jaquan Jackson. And he had me looking and trying to remind myself who that player was. Because, everybody was out there besides L'Jarius Sneed, Will Levis, Lloyd Cushenberry. Everybody was out there. Tyler Lockett. For those who wanted to try to talk bad about Tyler Lockett and say that there was a chance he wasn't making this team, he showed everybody today. He had a couple big plays and all this kind of stuff. He's a veteran, and he is still spry. Like, he's agile. Now, he's small, but he's agile.
He's still the same.
He's still the same.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably a 600 now guy, but he's still productive. I know. I was stunned when people were saying that. I could not believe that. Actually, I think he and Jefferson should be locks for the team.
I would be very surprised if they weren't. If they're not, then they put Elikai and Manor and Chimere DK over them.
Yeah. When they decided to do it.
But I would be very surprised if they're not.
But we were talking about Treylon Burks, and yours truly, Cam Ward, said he's going to be one of the team's top receivers this year. He's excited to see him out here.
I like your idea that we should ask him about a different wide receiver every time and see how he hypes everybody up. Because if you ask him about Van Jefferson, is he going to say he's a top 10 wide receiver in the league? I don't know. He may. I never know what Cam Ward's going to say. That's kind of fun. But I will say, I get that the idea of Treylon Burks is very exciting. He's a tall wide receiver who is very athletic. He's a big wide receiver who's got some speed to him. I can't buy into it, and I saw nothing today that makes me want to buy into it. And I hate that because I wish he would rebound and turn into something. But at a certain point in your NFL career, it kind of feels like you are what you are. Now, if it's one of those instances where maybe he can find a place on special teams, sure, but you have Bryce Oliver. And right now I'm taking Bryce Oliver over Treylon Burks. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that. And if I had to choose between Jaquan Jackson and Treylon Burks, I may run away from having to make that decision, but I would probably say Jaquan Jackson.
Jackson, right? Yeah, I think it's Jackson.
The idea of Traylon Burks is so tantalizing, but at some point we got to deal in reality, not
So
hypotheticals.
from what you saw, because you didn't see a lot of the defense mostly, but who was the surprise player that you go, he wasn't even on my radar? Not to say he's going to make the team or anything like that. It could have been we've already talked about him, but that guy, what number? Who was that?
I don't know if necessarily these two examples I'm going to provide qualify for that.
Okay.
But I did find myself checking the back of the jersey for the name on a lot of plays that David Martin Robinson finished.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, there's the hyphen. There's a really long name. That's who that is. I wasn't really looking at the numbers. I was looking at the name on the back of the jersey. And I was like, oh, that's it. The other guy that really surprised me was Khalil Mullins because he caught a lot of balls.
Running back from Michigan.
Yeah, running back from Michigan, sixth round pick for the Tennessee Titans, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And this was his first time in action because he's been missing practices.
That's right. He had the abdominal.
He had the core muscle injury. And I thought he looked really good catching the ball out of the backfield. Had some speed to him. And that was something that he wasn't really known for coming out of college, was catching the ball out of the backfield. And then that was kind of a question. Now, I didn't get to see a lot of pass pro reps, or, that's another one, pass protection. But I do think, okay, if Tyjae Spears were to go down with injury, you could probably roll with Khalil Mullins getting and spelling Tony Pollard for maybe a series or two. Again, day one training camp. But catching the ball out of the backfield looked effortless to him, to the point where I thought that he was Tyjae Spears. I was like, because he was just catching it, or Tony Pollard, because the way he was catching the ball was just so effortless to me. And so those two guys.
That's why you thought he was 5'9"?
Yeah, he looked so small. Now, I will say that he looked with David Martin Robinson. I'm not surprised David Martin Robinson looks good.
He's athletic. He is.
Because he's athletic, but he was making some tough physical catches over the middle, some tight window catches, and he was getting a couple of yards. So, I'm not surprised, but he was a guy that had me checking the jersey or checking the number a lot.
He definitely impressed me when I watched OTAs. As far as his athleticism, how he moved, I thought he was right up there with Chig and Gunnar Helm. When I watched him now, that doesn't mean you're a better football player, but athletically playing a position, they look different. Wiley wasn't even on the radar. He wasn't even close to any of those three.
No. I mean,
which is
Wiley,
sad to say.
And listen, Odukoya, great story. I mean, all that kind of stuff. But there is a clear divide between those three tight ends because.
Can you keep just those three? Because who's the blocker? Gunnar Helm?
Gunnar Helm, probably. I know David Martin Robinson has been working to get his blocking down, but I would say that probably Gunnar Helm, or they're going to use John Ojukwu on those plays. But, gotcha. I think it's going to have to be Gunnar Helm in that situation. I would say this, that Josh Wiley and Thomas Odukoya looked more like, his name's Dabney. He's a tight end named Dabney. Hold on.
You supposed to be Grand Poobah. Who is that?
He is Drake Dabney, an undrafted free agent tight end that they signed this year. He is from Texas Christian.
Oh, TCU.
TCU. But he was an undrafted free agent. They looked more like him than they looked like David Martin Robinson, Chig,
so when
and
you see
Gunnar
the players out there, you kind of start comparing them.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Who stands out, right? Do you jump off the page? And watching tight ends in a lot of the drills, the one-on-one drills and just where it's Cam Ward and all that stuff, 7-on-7s, they were throwing a lot to the tight end, so you're naturally watching that. Yeah, I think they keep three tight ends. And if they wanted to keep a fourth tight end, I don't think tight end 4 is on the roster right now. And I think you could roll with these three tight ends. And you maybe just need them to chip and not block. Now, you need them to run block, and that's a totally different thing. But at this point in time, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm saying I called it a couple weeks ago when we did our final 53 on football and other F words. But I said they're only keeping 3 tight ends. I'm holding to that. I don't think there's a 4th tight end on this roster right now.
Wow.
And I will say,
How many did they keep last year?
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another boo-boo.
Yeah. Definitely a major boo-boo. You could call it the grand boo-boo itself if you wanted to.
Now, I know you weren't. You got a question? I know you weren't watching defense, but how, my man, did Winston?
You know what? Now there was a media scrum with Winston, but I am so mad at myself, Blaine. I didn't pay attention at all to the safety.
It's hard.
And I wish I would have because I wanted to watch it. So that's going to be my next focus next time is more the defensive backs and stuff.
Sometimes it's where you're standing and you only watch what's in front of you. Because
right.
that's the really only thing you can really see.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of shifting around to try to make sure I could watch the get off of the line. Because like you were talking about with Elikiah Manor, just explosion off the line of scrimmage like you wouldn't believe. I would draft. Here's how much I'm into Elikiah Manor right now. I would draft him in fantasy football. Round 15, round 16, round 14. But I would maybe be thinking about drafting Elikiah.
So you're saying he's wide receiver 1B?
I would say that he's eventually, if sooner rather than later, going to be wide receiver 2 to
on the outside.
Calvin Ridley's wide receiver 1. I think it's going to be hard to prevent him from not taking that spot. And that's not to say anything about Van Jefferson, because I do think Van Jefferson's looked very good.
Van Jefferson looked like he was the smoothest catcher out there. I mean, it was almost natural.
I would say this.
Wow,
Blaine,
it was. Some guys just have it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it is so smooth. It's like, the ball was made to their hand.
It felt like last year and from what I've heard, people kind of felt this way inside the building. But it kind of felt like last year they lacked a lot of guys that could run a lot of different routes. And
that's not good.
I think this year has been an emphasis on that. I think Van Jefferson has shown that. I think the way that Elikiah Manor stems his release packages and all that kind of stuff and blocks it a little bit downfield and what he does, I think he can do that. And obviously we know Calvin Ridley can and Tyler Lockett can. But I think you got 4 guys with probably these are the 4 best. It's a quad of route runners who could probably help them in the middle of the field as well as outside routes. And I think that's so important for what this offense wants to be. And last year, there were a lot of explosive plays left on the table. I think this year we're going to see an uptick in explosive plays, 20-plus yard plays from the wide receiver group and the quarterback. I would say that this is going to be I don't know if it'll be successful or not, but this is going to be the best look we've had at what Brian Callahan truly wants to do on a play-in, play-out basis, because I think the offensive line is better. I think the quarterback is better, and I think the wide receivers are better than what they had last year.
So now remember that they have to gel and then they have to grow.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We'll see. I don't know how all that's going to work. It looks like the offensive line, I maybe saw 1 or 2 sacks today.
Mind you.
Yeah, no pads and all that.
Who is the best pass rusher on the Titans?
Well, that's true, too. I guess Jeffrey Simmons, maybe. I don't know. I guess that's true, too.
So we got to, taper it. It's because we're getting a false sense of security about what's really happening here. They are not getting the look. I mean, we don't have one elite.
I would still say this is a 5 or 6 win team, but I think it's going to be because of the defense more so than the offense right now, if that makes sense. Like last year, it wasn't really the defense's fault. It was really the offensive special teams. This year, I think defense is going to hold this team back.
Oh, got you.
And
because of no pass rush.
Yeah, well, there ain't no pass rush on there.
Or Snead.
And we don't even know what Snead's going to be.
LJ is what he called him.
Yeah, LJ. So to me, I don't know. Okay. I'm trying not to, I don't want to put out too much hype out there, but I do think every instance or every position group got better on offense. But that does, to your point, that doesn't mean much until they go up against a real defense.
Right.
It does, because Denver's
we'll see Denver right
Denver's a real defense.
Yeah, we do.
I would even say that Atlanta has a better defense. So we may see it joint practices in Atlanta. We'll definitely see it Tampa Bay. We'll see how this gels. But I don't expect the gelling process to be as painful or as long as it has been in years past. Even with Ryan Tannehill, sometimes those years we saw the offensive line take forever to gel. I don't have the feeling this is going to be the same this year. But again, day one of training camp. That's all I can go off of. And so I do think, to me, looking at it, I feel good about where this offense is at right now. But we'll feel even better about this offense in year 2 of Cam Ward. Because I think Elikai Manor may be the real deal.
I didn't want to say it.
I mean, you were right though. again, you have like a 100% hit rate.
I want to still see him in pads, and I want to see him do something and they're like, all right, Van Jefferson's not starting. Yeah, I'm waiting to get to there because when he's even now, he's already better if he's even. See, so that's already telling you what I'm thinking. I mean, like what you should be doing as a coach. And you go, oh, man, you want to give Jefferson a shot because he's, that's kind of happened to him over his career.
Right.
Just to see what he can do. But so I'm rotating him.
Oh, again, we're talking about a guy that's in year 4, year 5.
Right.
So you kind of know what he is. And listen, he could be more maybe in this offense, but we're not talking like with Elikai Manor, you are getting more Corey Davis than you are Nick Westbrook-Akine. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to bash NWI, but NWI has never been close to a 1,000-yard wide receiver, as even when he's had his wide receiver 2 opportunities. But I feel like right now you could if you told me, Blaine, maybe this is a better way to put it. If you told me that week 1, the Tennessee Titans are starting Calvin Ridley, Elikai Manor, and Tyler Lockett, I wouldn't bat an eye.
Right.
And I wouldn't bat an eye in the sense of I could believe it. And I could see that he could have earned it, and I could see that he's the best choice for the job because he's already that guy.
Well, if he gets, let's say, 500 or so, somewhere around there, yards his rookie year, it was the right decision because that means he's already better than NWI or anybody else because they didn't get that to year 3, 4, or 5. So I just think he's that talented. We shall see, though. I mean, sometimes you get wear and tear as far as a rookie. You kind of hit the wall. We'll see if he keeps this up consistently. And that was one thing that was showing up. He was doing it consistently.
I mean,
I saw him do this one-hand catch during OTA. I was like, whoa.
Just the amount of, even against
he's going to be a problem.
Jarvis Brownlee Jr., he was creating so much separation off of how he exploded off the line, but also how he moved in and out of his breaks. It wasn't just that, and I'm talking separation towards the middle of the field. I'm talking separation to a part of the field that is usually congested. If you're talking about, and if they ran that play a couple of different plays that I saw from Ellick today, if they ran those on 3rd and 5, it's almost like at that point when Tajay Sharp was almost like an automatic first down. It was really weird on 3rd down. Like he wasn't getting a lot of separation, but for some reason he converted a lot of first downs in one of those seasons. That's him, but Ellick has more speed and more separation. They got a guy on 3rd and 5 that I would almost be looking for every play to convert at the sticks. And I think that's what they want.
I'm gonna just say I'm a taper.
I know
my expectations because in the real world, Brownlee's a 3 on a team. He's not a starter. So, I mean, what he's doing out there, and we don't see what he's doing against Snead because Snead's not out there. Then we could really see. So there's no high-level corners on the Titans.
That is true. That is true. That was kind of what we were talking about with Xavier Strepo as well.
At least as of right today.
Yeah. And when we come back, we'll talk more about maybe what Brian Callahan had to say, Cam Ward had to say, and Jeff had to say. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone.
Did you know Eurofix has a very different business philosophy? They staff all their locations with more staff than the average auto repair shop. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to get a right now appointment for a vehicle repair? Or some dealers can be more than 2 weeks out just to get a freaking appointment, but not Eurofix. Eurofix has been offering quality repairs that beat the dealer without the dealer pricing since 1999. Plus a 3-year nationwide warranty and the staff to fix your car right now. So if you're tired of waiting forever to get your car into the shop, then call Eurofix. Owner Aaron Stokes says we will never be too busy for our customers. We're here to take their pain away, and we mean right now. And Eurofix repairs all European cars, and Eurofix says yes to speedy repair when others can't or won't. Family owned for 26 years. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com. But I was dumb laser.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Football's back, baby. It's back. Or as I think A to Z Sports put out a graphic today, and I was told that Ross was not the person behind this graphic, but it was Titans is back football.
Titans is back.
Titans is back football. That was a great graphic, by the way. But we're back. We're back. Had a great time today at training camp. Have had a great time breaking it all down. I think we've hit everything.
Did you watch? Yeah.
I think so.
Well,
Quarterbacks,
we'll
wide
watch the
receivers.
defense tomorrow.
Yeah.
We always save the defense for last.
Yeah.
Save
I'm
the best
not
for
going to be
last.
able to go tomorrow. We got childcare arrangements, so I gotta stay with the kids, the pups.
Well, since Jackson has a pass,
Yeah, he can
we'll
go.
lean on you, Jackson.
I cannot go either.
Oh.
What
Greg
happened?
Cosell
He
is
chickened
using my
out?
pass.
Well, to be fair, that's an early wake up time for Jackson. He's usually waking up at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the
Oh
morning.
man, you guys!
He's a hard worker. He's here
just
all dang
continue
day.
to just make excuses, man. Sometimes you got to do extra. What y'all complain about the players not doing extra? Do extra. That's how you become great.
Somebody else is
What's
using
your
my pass.
response?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Someone is using his pass. I think,
Greg Cosell.
yeah. He got,
You can't give the pass.
He just got
They're
the
gonna
pass,
take your
dude.
pass. You cannot give your pass to anybody.
he just got
I never got the pass. Somebody.
someone took it, I guess, while they were there. All right. I do want to talk
Man, you
about,
guys, man.
let's see. Let's do this. I will do 615-737-1045.
Poo-poo helmet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What about these? First off, what about these helmets and the fact that they revealed it on a raft, and someone fell into the river, the water that is over there?
And they put that out on the. Oh,
Yeah,
they did
yeah,
it live. They
yeah.
did it live. Why would?
The Browns are such a disaster.
Oh man, their fans too just love their team too.
What do you
man.
think about those helmets?
I'm not on board with the poo-poo helmets, man. I don't know, man. Browns, man, they are historically, man, it's over the time, man. You just got to love the Browns fans, man. I feel sorry for them sometimes, man. I mean, they went 0, what was it? 0-16, 18?
Yeah, after they
drafted.
drafted 0-16 after they drafted Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that was tough sled, man. That's tough to swallow. Man.
Yeah, it is insane. I do real quick.
Do you like the Browns?
Oh
Do you-
no, I think first off, being a Brown is just really weird. Like, what is a Brown?
Well,
I know they have Brownie the elf, but like
That's
that's
the
even
elf.
that's
Elf
even
is
weirder.
Brownie?
Yeah, his name's Brownie the elf. That's
Let's bring somebody on smart there. Ross is in. What is the mascot? I mean, the brownie. What is that?
I just assumed it was a big wad of poop.
I mean,
the Cleveland
I'm
Browns,
out.
man.
I'm out. They need to do something with the Cleveland Browns because I mean the quarterbacks have been a disaster. The ownership has been a disaster. This has been a disaster. Literally, someone falling into Lake Erie, I guess. But like,
It's memorable. Everybody's
it's
going to remember.
memorable. Oh yeah, just not. They're very memorable, just not for the right things. Real
Come on,
quick,
man.
Ross, do you have up the list of audio on that screen?
I will pull it up.
Okay. It's under Jackson's file. But I do want to talk about what Brian Callahan was asked about, a couple of different things. But Easton Freeze asked him about L'Jarius Sneed and said that he asked him, how realistic is it going from 10 months without practice to cornerback one from the get-go? And here's what Brian Callahan had to say.
Challenge, certainly. Anytime guys miss time like that, there's a challenge to get them up to speed and get going. They got to get their feet under them. They got to get in shape. And when I say get in shape, I mean like playing football shape. That's different than just being in condition. So yeah, it's a challenge. I think he's up to it, and we got to get him to that point. It's going to takes time, just like anything does. But I think he'll be ready to roll.
I mean, he sounds confident. They've sounded confident that he's going to be ready by week one. They've sounded confident Lloyd Cushenberry's going to be ready by week one, but they also sounded confident that at least L'Jarius Sneed was going to be back at some point last season. So I just don't know what to think about this L'Jarius Sneed situation. I think I'm just going to take advice from Coach Mack and just keep my powder dry on this conversation. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, that's the take. I think head coach Callahan just said there. He just said it that way because he knows you have to practice and you have to get in game shape. It's totally different than, running on the side and, all of that. You can do that all the day you want to, but that's not the same with bringing the physicality and everything else involved with football. So, yeah, I would feel a lot more comfortable if he started practicing and you taper that up, especially when they're going against other teams. So I'm hoping even though he won't be here, that when they practice against those other teams, that he'll be up and moving, at least practicing to some extent during those days. Maybe not back-to-back days, just kind of playing it by ear, but get him out there and get his feet wet because you cannot play corner and think there's not going to be any rust after pretty much a whole season off almost. Would he only play 5 games or so?
Yeah, he played. 5 games.
Yeah, so that's a real tough. Yeah, that's a tough.
And
one,
it went from quad injury
to
knee injury to injections in it somewhere. I thought it was in the knee, but I was told yesterday that maybe it was in his quad. That was the stem cell injection. Then he got a knee scope in May.
But didn't he get a scope when he first got here?
That's what it feels like. You know what? You may be right on that.
So that's 2
but
scopes.
he was back quick after that scope.
Right. It was just kind of after they signed him, he did a scope.
Yeah, and then it was like a little minor scope in his knee, and now they scoped it again, but this one's taken longer to come back from. I don't know. I know that he's the Jenga piece of this defense, and he's so important to be out there just for practices, too, because we were just talking about Alec Ayumanor. Well, you want to see Alec Ayumanor iron sharpen iron against a guy like L'Jarius Sneed.
Oh, yes, no doubt.
Because, week 1, he's going to be seeing likely a lot of Riley Moss on the outside, which should be a good matchup even for a rookie, but Riley Moss is an experienced veteran. And I get that Jarvis Brownlee Jr. has 1 year under his belt, but, man, you would like to see these wide receivers go up against L'Jarius Sneed because that also tests him and tests his leg, too. Tests where he's at.
That also gives those young players a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Like that, hey, man, I'm going against one of the, top 10 cornerbacks in the league, and, man, I'm holding my own. I'm getting better. So, yeah, so we got to get him sharp because he has to get sharp now. There's no way around that.
Yeah, I will say he just man, I just don't know. I'm a little, it's just a gut feeling for me. I think this is going to be a really bad defense. and I think that's with a healthy L'Jarius Sneed or not, because I love his attitude, and I love that he wants to say that I'm going to remind everybody of who L'Jarius Sneed is. But you got to walk the walk when you talk the talk, and right now I don't even know if he's barely walking right now. You know what I'm saying? He ain't running. He ain't out there running. So I don't know. I'm very concerned about this defense.
Yeah, with no pass rush and no elite corner in this, they're going to have to change up a lot of things. Yeah.
All right, that will do it from us. 3HL's up next. Brent and Don were out there at practice. They'll give you what they saw from their viewpoint of things. But this has been Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime,
and in between time,
peace.